Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk with the John Allan champs for 2015, Mark Answini and Greg Mascioli. Well, guys, it took a little bit more than a couple days to get this tournament done, but when and finally all worked out, you guys are the champs. Mark, let's start with you. Talk about where you were last year, going through some adversity, and where you were this year in 2015.
Well, last year I qualified with my partner, Matthew Hoover, and we ended up making the championship flight. And Saturday morning I woke up with a virus, and I was violently ill. Ended up in the ER and in the hospital for the rest of the weekend. And I ended up not playing the final 2 days, and he ended up playing by himself.
Well, you find yourself as a champ in 2015. Let's talk about that golf game. Tell us about how you and Greg were able to do it.
Well, it was a great weekend. We limited our bogeys. You know, we did make a few bogeys through the weekend, but we ended up making a lot more birdies than I have made in the past in this tournament. And obviously Greg made his share of great birdies and par-saving putts, and he played fantastic for the whole 3 days. And the rain-shortened day, we ended up picking up some ground, and we played well Sunday as well.
Mark, let's talk a little bit about your game. I mean, you go back 30 years. You're a bruising fullback at Coughlin High School. Here you are. You pick up golf as the years go on afterwards. Tell us about your golf game. Are you long off the tee? Tell us about what you've worked on over the years to become a great golfer.
Well, I picked up the game 23 years ago when I joined Fox Hill. That's when I started taking it seriously. I was about a 20 handicap when I started, and I worked on it, took a few lessons. And it's the self-made swing. It's not your typical classic golf swing, but it works for me. And I think over the years, getting into these competitive tournaments, it's been, it makes you better. It makes you a better player. You're playing with better players. And you got to keep up with these guys. And I'm not as long off the tee as I used to be. I'm going to be a senior next year. I'm going to be turning 50, so I'll be able to compete with the senior guys next year. But these young guys are, hitting it by me 30, 40 yards. Pat Mitchell and Greg. Pat we played with in the sudden death match. He's really long and as well as Greg. And you can't watch that stuff. You got to play your own game when you're in these types of situations.
Well, let's welcome in Greg Mascioli, the partner of Mark Answini here on the John Mendola Show. They are the Allan champs. Greg, talk about your golf game and how you guys are able to complement each other out there.
Well, the biggest thing for us, it was a lot of positive energy. I mean, both of us are pretty kind of happy-go-lucky people. And, we never let any bad shots get us down. And it's one of the biggest things in partner golf is, you don't want to disappoint your partner. You want to play well. You want to compete, and staying positive and having a good attitude is really one of the biggest ways to play good golf. And it helps when you start to feed off each other's good shots, and brings you back into the mix if you're having a bad hole. And we complement each other really well because we laugh off a bad shot, celebrate the good ones, and luckily we hit some good shots when we needed to. Mark played outstanding in some of the tougher conditions and tougher times in the tournament. Really picked me up when I was struggling a little bit. But overall, it was a blast to play this weekend. And, I was fortunate that we put ourselves in a position to win it.
Greg, you talk about a memorable shot or two that you had or Mark had. Tell us about what hole it was and what the shot was.
Well, for Mark, I tell you what, the shot he hit on 17 in the last, coming down the home stretch was huge. And, he didn't have an easy putt. And it was only 4 or 5 feet, but let me tell you, that 4 or 5 feet probably looked like 30 feet. Downhill left to righter, and committed to the putt and made it. And that's huge. It's not an easy putt, as you know, if you play golf. And That was a big one in the tournament.
I guess when you guys win a tournament, the partnership probably grows a little bit stronger. Talking about going forward with you guys.
Well, it's exciting. We're gonna, hopefully be competitive next year. Put ourselves in a position to win it. Now that we see what it's like, together in this kind of atmosphere, we can build off it and get better, and hopefully win a second one. But as part of Matt Hoover in the past, John Mulhern, great players, great guys. Tough to kind of fill in that spot. We were lucky enough to be in a position this year to win. But with Mark's game and some of the guys he's played with, he could do it with anybody. But it was a lot of fun to be a part of it this year.
Mark, getting back to you, when you look at all those names on the list that have competed this year, and you say, "Hey, we won it." I mean, there's some great competition year after year, and in some ways, I'm sure it's hard to believe, saying, "Hey, we beat all those guys, but you guys did it."
Yeah, but to take that a little bit further, you look at the board and the names that are on that board in that grill room at Fox Hill. The Carlisle Robinsons, the Eddie Hennigans. John McKevich and Tom Biscotti, they're two friends of mine and great players. Lenny Coleman, Art Brunn Sr., Art Brunn Jr. I mean, the list on that board is spectacular, but the field this year, it's one of the toughest around, and I'm sure Greg can agree with that. I mean, you have guys like John Mulhern that played with his son Zach. I mean, they were medalists on Friday. They're going to be a tough team in the future. This is their first year that they played together. Like I said, Eddie Hennigan, Eric Williams, David Kluger. I mean, they're just the list goes on. Donnie Crossan, who's won it a bunch of times with Billy Briggs. It's nice to be put in that category now. After it took so long for me to personally get that trophy, and I owe a lot to my partner here. He did have one hell of a job for us, and holes that I was making bogeys, man, he picked us up and made some crucial putts, made some crucial shots to put us into this position.
Mark, when you talk about the family at Fox Hill, it's a tight group of people, and I'm sure there'll be some nice fun over the next year when people walk by and talk to you a little bit, but also your family at home, there to support you out on the golf course, and I'm sure it was nice to share it with everyone as well.
Yeah, it was, and my father followed us around. Greg met my dad on the Friday of the Allen for the first time, and he followed us all weekend. In the rain. That Saturday he was out there. He followed us, and then Sunday, the last nine, my wife and my kids and my mom showed up, and my brother Michael. They were all there on Wednesday as well, and I have to say I had a lot of support from a lot of different friends that aren't members at Fox Hill. They came. There must have been 10, 12 of them that showed up to walk around and follow us and support us. Plus the members that were there, to take interest. It just shows what type of club we have. And, there must have been 80 people watching, something close to that, I think the paper said. And it just goes to show you how everybody takes an interest in what we do at Fox Hill.
Well, congratulations, Mark Answini, Greg Mascioli. They are the John Allan champs for 2015 at Fox Hill Country Club. Want to thank both of you gentlemen, and I'm sure it'll be sweet to hold on to that for the next year. All right.
Hey, thank you, John.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it.
Greg Mascioli, Mark Answini here on the John Mendola Show. As we're talking golf, we are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.